Hi, welcome to Luxury in Moderation, where we appreciate the finer things in life without going overboard. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Joanne, and every week I upload videos about luxury handbags and other luxury lifestyle products. So if you like what you hear, please remember to like this video and subscribe below. And if you haven't entered my giveaway from last week's video, I'll link that below as well. So today I wanted to share my thoughts on a few topics surrounding the luxury community and purchasing luxury pieces, including pre-loved markets, resellers, counterfeit, and inspired by or imitation pieces. And I'm going to be repeating throughout the video that this is very subjective. These are my opinions only, and everyone can form their own opinions about which they prefer. But I wanted to provide a little education on especially the counterfeit piece in case anybody did not know this information. First, let's start off with the pre-loved market. So in recent years, there has been many marketplaces that do sell pre-owned luxury. Previously, I think there was only eBay and it didn't have like a reputation for being like a great selling place. But now there's actually websites dedicated to selling luxury designer pieces such as The RealReal, Fashiophile, Rebag, Vested Collective. So these online marketplaces, and some of them do have physical stores, are geared towards instilling confidence in us so that when we buy luxury, we feel safe that we're buying a real luxury piece. For me, I definitely like looking on these sites, especially for things that I know aren't in the current collection. Maybe they've been discontinued. Maybe I've also tried to find pieces at a better price, because sometimes a pre-owned piece can be lower priced, especially if there's visible signs of wear and tear. Other times, even if it's been lightly used, the price may be the same as buying new from the store because these pieces are just so popular these days. But another part of me also is very paranoid, and I get very concerned on if I'm buying a real piece, especially when there is news that sometimes these sites aren't foolproof. So for example, I know The RealReal had news that there were some fakes selling on their website. So that does make me not want to shop at The RealReal. So I think I'm just very easily scared off. But I do love browsing Fashiophile. I actually did buy a Chanel reissue from there, even though I returned it because I realized a reissue bag just isn't for me. But I think I would be open to trying again buying from Fashiophile. I just have to find the right piece at the right price. So again, this is very subjective. Whatever you feel comfortable buying, your comfort level of knowing, is this the right piece? Can I trust these sites? And do I mind having a piece that has been pre-owned and used? I think these sites are pretty good at describing where you can see if there's any wear and tear or scratches or dirt. And then the last piece of it is if it's the right price for you. Now, closely related to this topic is resellers. And for me, reseller means that they go into a boutique and buy a new piece and then they sell it themselves in order to make a profit. And for me, I am not personally okay with buying from resellers. And that is because of resellers, brands are making it harder for people to buy their products brand new in store because they see this reseller activity, they see it online, they know it's happening. So then they're cracking down on, how people can buy products, and they are putting limits on how many pieces a customer can buy. For example, Chanel, now they've put limits on how many bags you can buy per season or per month. So really, it's not the action itself. Like, I'm not mad that a reseller is trying to make money. Like, if this is the way that they make a living and feed their family, fine. But it's the consequence of making it harder for the rest of us to buy brand new in store that I don't want to support that behavior. So if these luxury brands weren't having any repercussions and didn't care about the resellers, and it wasn't changing the way that regular customers can buy things from store, then there would be no effect on my life. But now that all these new rules are in place, it's actually making it harder for me to buy brand new in store. So that's why I personally would stay away from the reseller market. I do think there's a fine line between maybe somebody who bought a brand new bag, they may have tried to use it once and realized, oh, they actually don't like it, they actually don't want it, and they sell it off, and maybe they can sell it for a little bit more because of market demand. So their intention wasn't to make money off of buying brand new in store and getting all of that product stocked for themselves. So I wouldn't have a problem with that situation. But for regular resellers, it's kind of like scalper tickets. Like if scalpers went to Broadway and bought up all the tickets and then are selling those tickets at like 3 times the markup, it's just making it harder for the real customers to buy from the actual brand. The next topic is counterfeiters. And I actually haven't thought about counterfeiters in a while. I think because my life now, I just don't see counterfeit products as much. But when I went to Italy, I did see a lot of bags that were trying to be like the regular luxury bags. And it just made me think again about the counterfeit market. I do know in New York, in Queens, Flushing, some of this stuff also still happens. So I do see it when I go into the city. And when I was a kid and I would see it on the streets of Asia, I didn't think it was such a big deal. I was like, oh, it's a great way to have the look of a luxury product without having to pay the prices of that. So if you're interested in that, and you don't have the funds, like, well, why not? Like, it's for your own enjoyment. But then I learned that buying from counterfeiters actually funds some very bad things in the world, such as organized crimes and terrorists. And I'll link a few articles below on all of these facts so that you can read up on yourselves. And these articles, I think, are a little bit older. They haven't been reporting as much in the past few years, which might be a great sign that they're cracking down on this. But after I learned about where that cash was going, that really made me think of the consequences for buying a cheap purse. Maybe the guy who's selling it to you on the street is not directly connected to any bad groups, but maybe, his supplier is, or his supplier's supplier, and you just don't know where this chain of command goes to because obviously it's not a recognized business and there's some regulation behind it. So just to be on the safe side, that's why I really don't condone the counterfeit market, especially when sometimes I know the product isn't even really safe, like the dyes they're using or the stitches and the materials that they're using. It might not be safe to, be in contact with human skin. It might be harmful. There might be sharp corners or something sharp inside the bag that's like poking you, again, because this stuff isn't regulated. So I encourage everyone to look up more information about the counterfeit market and just learn that there's better ways of spending your money. The last topic I wanted to talk about today are inspired by pieces or like imitation pieces. So these are bags by reputable brands or well-known brands that make pieces that kind of look like another piece. For example, Michael Kors makes a lot of bags that look like other bags, bags that look like a Birkin. And I thought I was the only one who noticed that, but apparently I think he's known in the fashion industry as making imitation or inspired by pieces because they actually said that in an episode of Project Runway. And when he was a judge for Heidi Klum, and that was how they introduced his brand. A lot of his pieces are meant to look like even higher end pieces, but without the price tags. So it's like getting the look for less. And there's always a certain amount of like borrowing or designers inspiring other designers. For example, my bracelet I just got from Hermes, my essay did actually tell me they saw the houndstooth pattern on Dior, and Hermes was like, oh, let's make our own version of it, and they made it into little horses. So they freely admit that they were inspired by what they saw from another designer, and they created off of that. And of course, there's a lot of bags on the market that are very, very similar. A lot of brands have a bag shaped like the Alma, like Hermes does, Balenciaga does. So it's like, who really made it first? Like, does it really matter? At that point, you know, if you like the shape, it's your personal preference, which brand you're buying, which price point you're gonna pay, what leather you want, what pattern you want. So this really does come down to personal preference, although there might be a difference in quality when you have something at a lower price point. But again, there might not be. Like, there might be a similar item that looks and feels very similar to like the original one and at a better price point. So if you like that and you don't want to pay the markup, then why do it, right? Personally, I don't really buy from Michael Kors because I can see, you know, which bag that he was inspired from, and I would rather own like the original. But I do admit that because his bags are so similar to other luxury brand bags, that they are beautiful. It's really interesting, I think, to pay attention to that kind of stuff. And if you want the look for less, it's a great way to spend your money on businesses and items that are at least regulated, or there's a certain amount of quality control, rather than, like I mentioned, the counterfeit market. So I would suggest maybe looking at these inspired by bags versus buying from a counterfeiter. So that's what I wanted to share today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope this video was helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions, and remember to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye!